I help organizations from various sectors to foster the use of data and AI in order to transform their businesses. So my work is quite diverse. I advise major companies in the financial and industrial sectors, and I also create new ventures to build concrete software that will answer to specific needs. The last such example is AgriSight, which is a digital software designed for the agricultural world. As far as I'm not a big fan of singularity theory, I'd rather say that AI is good to empower humans rather than replacing them. There are two types of empowering we can mention. The first one, in many companies, AI is good to automate relatively simple and repetitive tasks so that human experts can focus their effort on higher value tasks. And the second one, that AI systems usually provide key insights for decision making. This arises whenever the complexity becomes too high for the decision making. That is the case when there is a very high number of variables that need to be taken into account to take the decision. So, for instance, we can speak about fraud in insurance. There are many variables that need to be considered to suspect and investigate fraud cases. That would be the case, for instance, in motor insurance. One needs to look at claims related to the fraud, to customer behavior, to repair garage networks, and so on. So many variables, AI is useful in this case. I wouldn't say that data can make mistakes. I'd rather say that people and algorithms that use data often make mistakes. I mean, when the data is there, it is there. So yes, let's talk about data. This is the food of AI. When there is no data, there is no AI. So data is absolutely key. In practice, it's a real expert job to manage and use data, and notably for AI kinds of advanced data processing. Understanding the data requires a full skill set ranging from a deep knowledge of the business processes at stake on the one hand, and also of the tools and methods to process and analyze the data on the other hand. This is only once the data is perfectly understood that subsequent application can bring value. And a deep data understanding is, to me, completely equivalent to a deep understanding of the business. Someone who doesn't understand the data cannot claim he is a business expert, and vice versa. Making sure that AI is trustworthy is absolutely key for its futures, and it is today a prerequisite for large adoption. And more precisely, there are three pillars that need to be carefully addressed: explainability of AI, biases and fairness, and robustness. So for the first one, for GAFAM-type applications, there was no need to understand machine learning models that were running on applications. But in the financial sectors, for instance, whenever an AI is a key input for major decision-making, such as a credit acceptance or pricing, for instance, then obviously it is key to have full interpretability of algorithm leading to such decisions. So regarding the second pillar, biases and fairness, one has to ensure AI does not introduce undesired biases in decisions. This is key. I will come back on that later. And finally, robustness. Any trustworthy AI needs to be robust to many events, to input data, to data falsification, to adequate use, etc. So these pillars need to be addressed by all dimensions: R&D practices, operational practices, and regulation also. And on this latest point, the EU has recently released a quite strict regulation project on AI, where the approach makes completely sense since it is based on risk level of AI application. Some voices are raised arguing that regulating an emerging technology such as AI and fully based on the precautionary principle can kill the technology and be a strong brake to progress. I think it will more precisely shift all the innovation to other geographies, such as US and China, which is, by the way, already the case. Well, as for any new technology, I believe regulating its end use is more critical than regulating the technology itself. This is a key point. One can use the same knife to cut a carrot or to kill a man. One can use AI to make good things or bad things. I also strongly believe that we need good rules and regulation to better create and innovate. And AI is currently a large area for innovation. So let's see how it goes now. I've been in contact with many ILB fellows for quite a while now, and I know that they are very high quality people and they are international class researchers. So I strongly believe this is the right and the perfect ecosystem to connect the dots and coordinate efforts between operational practitioners and academic research. This is what I've been trying to do for more than 10 years now. And this is particularly important for the AI transformation of businesses that we are currently in the middle of. Coming back to the example of ethics of AI, I noticed a couple of years ago that insurers that I do know well had very specific problems in terms of explainability and fairness of AI, resulting in disappointing adoption. And on the other side, tools developed by the large academic community were focusing on a certain class of problems that do not apply in insurance. So therefore, I started reflecting on two important topics. First, explainability methods specifically answering to actuaries' needs. And there we have multiplicative explainability, which is at stake as compared to additive explainability. And second, and in the context of the ILB finance and insurance related program, on methods to improve the design of AI algorithm with a full control on biases and discrimination. And there is a canonical example in fairness-aware pure premium modeling that we are up to release on this topic. So, as an ILB fellow, I expect to actively participate to various working groups and programs to collectively take a step forward in the AI transformation of financial institutions, and that in particular in the insurance industry.